Welcome to the Without the Bank podcast, where you and I are going to talk about all things IBC, the business of banking, utilizing money correctly, and how this will help you grow your business and your wealth. All right, folks, today we are going to talk about our monetary system a little bit. And I was listening to a podcast this morning that Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki was talking about, and I found it a comment very interesting by the guy that he was interviewing. And he said that everybody thought, the Soviet Union was so broke, not even broke, but poor. They thought all the people over there were poor. And I don't remember the lady's name, but he was talking about a lady that lived in the Soviet Union at that time and said, we weren't poor. That was such a huge misconception. She said, we were very wealthy. We all had money. We just didn't have anything to buy. There were no goods to purchase. So we all had the money for the bread, but we still had to stand in line for 2 hours to get the bread. And I had not heard that before. I don't know about you guys, but I had not heard that before. And he said, it doesn't matter what our monetary system is. It doesn't matter how much money we have. If we don't have goods to purchase, we're poor. And that is exactly what is happening in this country right now. You try to go into a restaurant locally here, it happens all the time. We try to get into a restaurant, there's no cars in the parking lot. We're like, ooh, nice. Gonna be a quiet night in the restaurant tonight. We get in there, it's gonna be about a 25-minute wait. 50% of your tables are open and the parking lot's empty. A 30-minute wait because nobody's working. They can't find the staff. And I'd sure love to know where all these people are. Because in our state, there is not unemployment going out anymore for the whole COVID thing. So I don't know where these people went. If they just decided to stay home, if the businesses are still paying unemployment, I'm not quite sure. I would love to find out, and I just have to connect with the correct people to do this. But they were talking about it on the podcast the exact same way. There's a wait to eat. There's a wait at the grocery store. There's nothing on the shelves. A huge concern. But it brought up a topic that I had not thought about. That you just assume if there's nothing to buy and people are waiting in line, that they're poor. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money or no money. Y'all are trying to buy the same bread. Money is great, but we need to have production of goods in this country. And this guy was saying that if you're going to invest, you need to invest in a cash flowing asset. Oh, who's heard me talk about that before? Oh, cash flow. That's my second favorite word. We need to have a cash flowing asset. He said, do a 30-year fixed mortgage. And I say this all the time. There is a difference, right? When we talk about the infinite banking concept, there is a difference between what Nelson was teaching and what other people talk about. There's essentially two strategies. One strategy is Nelson's. Get rid of the banks. Never borrow money from the bank. Ever, ever, ever. Even if there's low interest rates and you can leverage your money. Nelson was a very firm believer of that. And then there's this other mindset that says, go to the bank and borrow money and do a 30-year fixed so that you have more liquid money to do things with that would create cash flow. And so if we are building our system and we need to use the bank, I don't totally believe that that is inappropriate. Now, part of me wants to scream and say that's not what Nelson would do. That's not what he did. We need to be more patient, all that good stuff, right? So if this guy is saying, invest in things that are going to create cash flow and make that payment for you. That might be starting a business. That might be buying rental properties, lending money to other people, whatever it is. They were talking about investing in foreign stuff and making a 10% dividend, and I don't know anything about it because I don't do any type of investing. So I'm not going to pretend to know any of that kind of stuff. But if we really sit back and think about what we need is we need to start producing stuff in this country, or we as people need to start producing a product that can then be sold. Because as I said, we are very dependent on other countries to be making our stuff and bringing it in. Now, I hear this all the time. Well, we need to be building that back in America. We need to be doing all these things and America needs to be taking care of themselves. I agree. But are Americans prepared for the price of what that's going to cost to do that? I don't think that they are. We have become very conditioned to the prices we pay for things at Walmart, at Target, right? We personally will go to our local Ace Hardware, who I absolutely love the owners of our local Ace Hardware. And we will go there and support them. But we went there. We have ground squirrels. They're annoying. They destroy your yard, something fierce. So we went there for traps to catch these little friends of ours. And the traps were like $15 a trap. Or you could go to Runnings and you could get 2 of them for $10. Okay, I don't know why Ace Hardware was more expensive. I'm sure it's because you get way better help and they always have employees. Their customer service is stellar. I'm sorry, I bought 2 traps and then I went to Runnings and bought, 4 or 6 more. There are times where I am happy to pay the extra, and then there are times where even I have a hard time swallowing that pill. If these products are made in America, here's another example. We just bought a gun safe. Yes, we have guns. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. We just bought a gun safe. The smaller gun safe that held 24 guns that was made in America was $1,100. The gun safe that held 60-some guns and was twice the size, made in China, was $1,300. Twice the size. Same kind of gun safe. Looked the same. Did the same job. Same fire rating. Twice the size for $200 more. Which one did I buy? The one that was $200 more, because that's the only size he had in hand. I probably would have not done that in that particular case, but it's still a good example of it's going to cost you almost twice as much money to have things made in this country. And are we prepared for that? And are we prepared to work at the plants that make the stuff? Because right now, I'm seeing nobody is prepared to work. Nobody is ready to get off their lazy bums and go get a job because it's easier to collect unemployment because we make more money. You're making more money on unemployment, and the taxpayers then have to pay for that, which is you. You get to pay that back. I talked to a gentleman the other day, great guy, has rental properties, $9,000 behind because the renters don't have to pay and he can't evict them. He calls an attorney to see how he can legally evict them, and the attorney says, I can't help you, we have a conflict of interest. They have also called me to see how they can get out of paying rent. That's the kind of people that we have in this country, and we want to manufacture stuff here. They don't even want to pay rent. They don't want to get a job. They want free money to suck off the system. You know who's getting their money? Starbucks. Fun places. And those fun places are going to run out of supplies as well because those supplies don't come from this country either. If we want this to work and we want to be able to constantly consume things that need to be made in our own country so we can control those things, we have to have the workers. We have to have states that are going to be friendly to business, right? We have to have a country that's going to be friendly to business. I have also been looking at the new tax proposal with the current administration, and it is not in favor of small business. oh my gosh, is it going to kill small business? A 40 to 50% tax? Wealthy people don't pay taxes. In case you didn't know that, they don't pay taxes because they know how to use the tax code in their favor. Nobody's avoiding taxes. Nobody is going through loopholes. And if you hear, most accountants will say the first 100 pages is of what you have to pay in taxes. The rest of all the pages of our tax code are how you can avoid paying taxes and use it to your advantage. Nobody is doing anything wrong. They're just reading the tax code so that they can understand what they can do to not have to pay so much in taxes. Wealthy people do that. They understand the tax code. So who's going to get hit by all these higher taxes is going to be the middle class. And it's going to hurt significantly. We are going to lose more small business. The shelves are going to remain empty. This is a huge deal right now. And if you're not listening to these type of podcasts, now I limit how much time I listen to this stuff because, oh my gosh, it's like doomsday. Tomorrow, the whole world's going to stop is basically what they make it sound like, which is not the case, in my opinion. I'm not going to live in fear, but I do want to live to the point where I can understand what's going on. And I just thought it was very interesting how there just was a lack of stuff, but everybody had money. I just hadn't thought of that. I had just assumed nobody had money. But we're going to be in that same situation if we don't get our act together. And the more we continue to use the banks, the more they can control us. So going and get a 30-year fixed note is great if you go take that money, the rest of your money that you have, and you invest it for something that's going to create cash flow and make you independent. So at some point you can get out of that banking system. Because if we use them, all that money runs through the central banks. And who runs this country? Those that run the central banks. It is a web. And we can help eliminate some of that web, but we have to be very diligent about how we do that. Will I continue to go to the bank and get loans? No, I would prefer not to. I would prefer not to be part of the problem that Nelson talks about. Will I do it now until I can get to where I want to go? Yes, I will. I don't know that there's anything wrong with it because I am a firm believer in the fact that what Nelson was teaching us to do is completely doable. We just all have to do it. Okay, folks. I got a little off topic. I covered a lot of random stuff, but I think it was all good stuff to talk about. And I don't talk a lot about what's going on in the economy today because there's so many other podcasts that you can get to talk about all that stuff that I don't need to reiterate it. I really like to focus on the infinite banking concept, and it all ties together. But I just thought when I heard that this morning, that was pretty enlightening. And it's a big problem all the way around. Okay, if you have not read the book Life Without the Bank, why not? What are you waiting for? Go to withoutthebank.com, grab the book Life Without the Bank. I do sell them as a bundle with Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. So if you are looking for the best information, grab both of those books right away. Get started there. And then after you've read the book, I would be super excited to visit with you. It's an 1.5-hour consultation that I do not charge you for. We just get to see if it's a good fit and see what you guys are got going on. And then we go from there. If you want to do something, great. If you don't, no big deal. No sweat off my back. But if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have something that you want to email me about, you can do that at maryjo@withoutthebank.com. Thank you very much for listening. Please leave a 5-star review if you think it is worth that. I would appreciate that. And until next week, have a good one. Talk to you then.